Let's discuss. Hey everyone, it's Rachel back again with another video, and I am stoked to be checking out a new track from Erra called Pale Iris. At this point, I have talked a ton about Erra on my channel, on pretty much all of my social media accounts. They are one of my favorite bands. There are few things that make me as happy as a new Erra release. I can always count on them being top tier material, especially for my taste. As always, a huge shout out to UNFD for being the best and getting this over to me in time to sort out a video. I will include the official music video link as well as all of Erra's social media, promotional links, merch in the description of this video. I'm going to stop talking and we are going to get straight into it. Sweet Erra chorus. That combination. Oh. With the black and white video. I can already see that part stuck in my head. Erra, Pale Iris, let's discuss. I feel like it is very difficult for me to do the outros for Erra without just rambling about them, so I will do my best to not ramble and make actual points. I will start with the production on this. If you saw any of the credits, they went all out on this. Atrium Audio is who works with Erra generally. On the last album, that is what we got. They did the drums on this, which I am very happy with. The snare sounds phenomenal. You can especially hear it in that ending of the chorus. But they also have Dan Bronstein. They have Nolly doing the mix. So this is an ideal outcome for that. But beyond that side of things, which not to downplay it because it very much adds to the Erra sound when you're listening to something like this, you can, and hearing every detail that you're supposed to hear, that is huge. But beyond that, the chorus on this is fantastic. We get the JTO before the end of the song, which it's not a necessity for me, but every time I hear it, I'm stoked on it. So that had me very excited. The lead in the chorus is out of this world. Not only is the chorus catchy from a vocal sense, somehow it just sounds so cool with the melody in the chorus. It just works together in a way that I can't even comprehend with my brain. There's obviously this is a band I very much enjoy, so it's hard for me not to sound like I'm just rambling about this, but these are generally the things that stick out to me on one listen. I will of course be running this single into the ground and playing it a ton of times. This is another track we've really seen in the most recent Erra releases, JT kind of stepping into different territory. You see a little bit of that on this track. There is nothing, like no combination of vocals I love more than Jesse and JT together, but getting a little bit more of like that singing side of JT, that is something I've been thoroughly enjoying with new Erra material. Not something that I was expecting on the last album, but the more we see it, the more I appreciate it. He's definitely growing his voice, but aside from that, the way the song starts, it just comes in swinging. You have that aggressive side of JT, which I feel he's had down for a while now, but somehow it continues to get better. And the Erra songs all sound very identifiable, like you know that's the Erra sound you're getting, but they all have a ton of what I talk about on the channel is identity, and that's when, you know, if you listen to a full album of something and everything sort of blends together because the songs sound similar and you can't really, that's the opposite. When you can point out specific things that make a song resonate with you and kind of be able to identify it, that is exactly what I feel each Erra song brings to the table. I don't know how they can so creatively kind of refresh the very much Erra sound, but have these songs with such identity. Like this chorus is gonna be a top one for me this year. One listen to it and I walked away humming. Well, I didn't walk anywhere, actually, that's a lie, but I left that video with it already stuck in my head. There were multiple parts that stuck out to me and kind of made that first impact on me, so I can only imagine what listening to the song a bunch of times is going to do. More details come out when, you know, you have a better chance to digest it. You listen more thoroughly, more times, that sort of thing. But on my first listen, this is what I suppose I expect from Erra at this point in terms of quality, but sound-wise, like I said, I feel they keep kind of refreshing it, but keeping it Erra, and that is what I love about them for sure. One of the things I think it's possibly the second chorus that just has all this build-up around it, so it's not really predictable in structure in a sense where, like, I could tell that that big breakdown was coming, but at the same time I was sort of expecting, like, leaning into the build-up, but having Jesse come in there on top of the anticipation that's sort of already building in that part, I felt like that was a really fun detail because it's not necessarily what I would have expected there. I don't think Erra has a super predictable style in that sense, so I was sort of feeling like it was gonna be like intense build-up, but having that sort of different sound across it than what I'm expecting is always something that's very satisfying to me. There's some points where JT is screaming and then you can hear harmonies behind it. Things like that really make the track feel extremely full alongside with big instrumentation. You have a bit of variety. I talked about the chorus lead and how much I love that, but you also have some stuff that's like down there. You have a good variety there. I don't really feel like I have much else to say without sounding just like I'm carrying on about how much I love Erra, because that's kind of what I'm doing. But those are the things that really stuck out to me on my first listen. My favorite part of this is probably that chorus. There has been a lot of stuff to come out of this year, and it's not easy to pick favorites, especially after one listen, but this is something I absolutely expect to have on my end of the year list when I'm talking about my top 5 favorite choruses. And after one listen saying that, I know how things usually go with this band. It's the more I listen, the more I love stuff. There's still points where I listen to self-titled or some of the singles that came off of the deluxe version of it, and there are new things that I still find that I love about it. Or you're just like listening to a song and you're like, I'm so glad I exist at the same time as this. Erra is one of those bands for me. Of course, it's quite obvious, and by anime, it's always something I'm talking about, but that same feeling I feel with Erra, re-listening to their material, going back to Drift, going back further to... I've talked about the story of how I got introduced to Erra a long time ago, multiple times with the pizza delivery thing, and going back to Impulse just gives me a sense of not quite nostalgia, but like also admiration for where the band has gone since then. You can always hear their... I don't want to say it's this... Self-titled was definitely a turning point for this band. That is the sound I now associate with them, but when you really dig into the albums that they put out leading up to that, or Moments of Clarity, all of that stuff has a sound that has been associated with Erra the whole time. So seeing that sort of evolve into something like this, and just such a consistent band, is something that I love, because there have been bands that I absolutely adored, but then as stuff progresses, the sound just goes in a direction that isn't really for me, and that's fine. That's bound to happen. There are tons of new bands that I get into all the time, but having one that, or like multiple, but this is one of the big ones that I can sort of carry with me over time, and it feels like similar to The Devil Wears Prada is a band I really like. I wouldn't put them on my listening up to where I have Erra and Invent Animate and stuff, but similar to what I said in my Color Decay video with how I've been listening to The Devil Wears Prada for a very long time, and over the years their music has matured a lot. I would say that because of where it came from, even more so than Erra. Erra has aged like fine wine, or something like cliche and cheesy like that, but I always feel that they've had this sort of sound with them, while The Devil Wears Prada, their early material is sort of like for some people it will land, of course, but for some people that it doesn't, it's like, well, you had to be there. Like, this is very much what was going on at that time. These songs were so sick to see live, and this was on my mixtape, my mix CDs in my car, stuff like that. But with Erra, it's a similar but different, if that makes sense. They've definitely pointed and grown in a way that, like, as my taste shift, Erra remains a top band for me, and I think that's probably what is so remarkable about it to me, because their sound has changed, but I'm carrying on with this. You get what I'm saying. Anyway, I obviously love this. I will link all of their social media, the music video I used in the reaction portion of this, all of it will be in the description of this video. I don't think there's nothing that I would want different about this song. Normally I try to include something, but there are some cases where there's just not anything, and that is the case here. I will put my link tree in the description. That will have my Patreon, my Twitch channel, the Discord server invite link, any link you may need related to my channel. I am getting going on Twitch. I just started today. I'm going to be doing every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, 7 p.m. GMT for song requests. I'm also going to be doing some extra streams in there, looking back on music that I already know very well, various themed music related streams that aren't quite request streams, as well as the Tuesday streams to meet the affiliate requirements, and because I've had them planned and I want to. If you're interested in following to see when I go live, that'll be there. Patreon is getting a big update next week, and I'm already posting early access videos at the end of this upcoming week, stuff like that. It's all listed in the tiers. The Discord server is where the community is based for my YouTube channel. We do love Erra in there, so if you want to come talk about Erra or just be in a community full of music lovers, that will be there. As always, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it.